Welcome to your weekly astrology forecast. My name is Shauna McGrath. I'm the creator of Neo-Feminine Astrology. I help you to move through unconscious blocks using astrology and creativity to get to a deeper layer of your creative energy. And this is so important because when you are more connected with yourself, when you understand your unconscious, you can move past things that are blocking you from being more creative and just being more happy in your life as well. So if you want to know more about Neo-Feminine Astrology or to book a session with me, you can go to my website, neofeminineastrology.com. So this week is all about success through planning. And so there's two different aspects that I want to share with you this week about the astrology. But overall, the theme this week is about dreaming about what it is that you want and then laying the foundation now by having a plan and using a lot of creative energy, but still creating that plan and setting the foundation for what it is that you want in the future. So the first thing that's happening this week that I want to share with you is that Mercury, which is the planet of thought and logic and communication, is squaring Saturn. And so Saturn is all about the structure. It's about the real material things that you create, the tangible things that you can see and touch and hold. So when your mind comes together with reality, there can be a few different potentials here. So Mercury is also in the sign of Pisces. So when your thought process, Mercury, is in the sign of Pisces, which is all about dreaming and creativity and imagination, there's this ability to tap into higher visions. There's this ability to think about things in a more creative way and to see the ideal of what it is that you want. The aspect is a square though, so a square creates a little bit of tension. So this imaginative mind that you may be experiencing right now is in conflict with Saturn, which is about reality, which is about the here and now. It's Saturn is about paying your rent, doing the adulting things that you got to do, being on time to the places you have to be. It's about the structure of your life that you can't change necessarily right now by thinking about it. So there's two different ways that this could manifest. This can feel like a sense of being frustrated about what your reality is because you have this idea, Mercury in Pisces, about what it should be. And then Saturn is like, well, no, this is how it is right now. And so the way to work with this is to think about what it is that you want, to allow yourself to dream, but then to be practical with the steps that you need in order to move towards that. And that's what Saturn really wants. Saturn loves it when we create a plan and we move towards our goals. So I want you to watch out this week for if you feel any sense of melancholy or like just kind of being like down in general. Sometimes Saturn can have that effect. It can also manifest as feeling like being a little bit hard on yourself and thinking, Mercury, that you should be farther along, Saturn. So I just want you to notice that. And if you are feeling that way, even more necessary to really sit down and to plan what it is that you're going to do to move towards what it is that you want. And this time, it's a really beautiful time to set that foundation now, and then the rewards will come later when you've actually done the things. So that's the energy there. So again, allow yourself to dream, allow yourself to be creative with what it is that you want, but then make sure that you set in motion the steps to move towards that. So that's Mercury square Saturn. Also this week we have a full moon in Virgo on Sunday on the 12th. And so full moon in Virgo is also very planning kind of energy. So that's why this is the theme, success through planning. Virgo loves lists, Virgo loves planning, Virgo loves routine and having a system. So you may find yourself being acquainted with how systems work for you, how rituals work for you. Virgo is very much about the day-to-day, and Virgo is really beautiful because it's about how when you do things on a day-to-day basis, when you take care of business, basically day-to-day, how that can actually be healing. And it can be grounding, and it can move you towards something that you want long-term, but it also creates this really beautiful foundation. It creates a sense of support for you to move towards what it is that you want. So Sunday is a really nice day just to contemplate what rituals you have in place for yourself. And these don't have to be necessarily what you would think of as a ritual, such as meditation or prayer. Those are lovely, of course, but ritual could also be just having quiet time when you have your coffee in the morning, or taking a few extra minutes to dress yourself or do your makeup or your jewelry in a way that feels really good. So Sunday is a nice day to really decide what rituals you need in order to move yourself forward. Like what feels grounding and soothing for you, what feels good to you in essence. So I have 3 tips for you to really harness the energy for this week. The first one is to remember to keep in mind a marathon mindset for this week. So I say a marathon mindset versus having a sprint. So this is not sprint energy, especially Mercury and Saturn together. This is about the long term. What do you want for the long haul? And just keep that in mind. Don't get too down on yourself for not being as far along as you would like to. So that's tip number 1, marathon mindset. Tip number 2 is to write down what it is that you want in the future, maybe a few months ahead, a year ahead, and then plan backwards from that. So what is it that you want? And then working backwards, what do you need to do now? What do you need to do in the middle to get there? That's very helpful, and that's that lends itself very well to the full moon in Virgo. So that's number 2. Write down your dream and then plan backwards from there. So tip number 3 is to write down 3 things that at some point in time you felt were impossible, but that you do very easily now. So for me, as an example, I'm learning how to play guitar, and I'm not as far along as I would like to be, but a year ago it felt impossible to even think about playing and singing at the same time. But now I can do it, and it's no big deal. So write down 3 things that are like that for you, and you may have to be a little creative with it, but I know that there are 3 things that you do right now, no big deal. They're like breathing, that they felt impossible at one time. And so that's emphasizing that marathon mentality for you, that mentality of mastery. So those are your 3 tips for the week. If you want to go deeper into the astrology, if you have something that's challenging for you, a life situation or an unconscious block that you want to move through, go to my website and book a session with me, and we can work on that. You can find that at neofemininastrology.com. And if you like this video, share it with a friend. I love getting these messages out to as many people as possible. I'm wishing you a wonderful week and sending you lots of love. Namaste.